in this session, we deep dive into nutritional intervention for a healthier life. We'll talk about the essentials of good nutrition, what is healthy food, how to eat, and when to eat. Let me introduce you to our guests. We have with us Rashmi Kulkarni ji. Dr. Rashmi Kulkarni has a PhD in molecular genetics from the Ohio State University and a master's degree in microbiology, and many more awards. And she has also been a volunteer for the Aahaar Kranti movement and has been promoting nutritional awareness. Her team has also built and recently launched educational apps for students to educate them about optimum nutrition. Many thanks for joining us. Also joining us today is Dr. Anjali Kulkarni, who's assistant professor at the Pune University. Many thanks, Anjali ji. So Rashmi ji, my first question to you is, we often hear about food being medicine or food as medicine. तो इसका मतलब क्या है, आप अगर समझाएं?
So very nice question. It's very important that when we hear food as medicine, what that basically means is that if our body receives all the nutrients that it requires, so basically what is going on in all our cells are chemical reactions. So if we receive all the chemicals that are required for these reactions, like the minerals, vitamins, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, if we receive them in the optimum concentration, our body is going to run in a very fine-tuned manner. That is exactly what we mean by food as medicine. So we will share some slides later as we go on. Anjali ji is also a member of our team. We have launched this initiative of Aahaar Kranti, which is about awareness of positive nutrition in Bharat on 13th of April. So both of us will be sharing some slides to give a better idea about all of this.
Absolutely. I request you to share the slides.
Okay. So what we try to do in this initiative is to people, have this awareness of what positive nutrition is. But what happens is when we go about our daily routine, we completely forget that what our body needs is all of these macro and micronutrients. So when we focus on this is a nutritionally balanced diet. We need carbohydrates, we need fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. And Anjali ji will also talk more about spices, which we completely ignore. So when we receive the right concentration of all of these, we can prevent all of the diseases and use food as medicine. Our traditional medicine has always used food or spices to heal diseases and to prevent diseases. So that's what we mean by food as medicine.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing these absolutely beautiful slides. Rashmi ji, आपसे जानना चाहूंगी, how do we improve our nutrition? किसको कहेंगी आप सही खाना?
तो हम जब कहेंगे कि न्यूट्रिशन को इम्प्रूव करना है, सो हाउ डू वी नो व्हाट इज गुड न्यूट्रिशन? That is something that we need to ask our body. There are several indicators of our health, like when we use smart watches or things like that, we are forgetting that our body itself is giving so many indicators: our urine, stool, the skin color, and the quality of, where we are tired, when we are tired, how fresh we are, what is the quality of sleep. All of these indicators are always telling us how our health is, and we have to listen to our body and feed it the right nutrition. So when we have the balance plate that Anjali ji will talk about now, we should have fruits and vegetables as a majority of our diet, half of our diet, and then healthy carbohydrates, minerals, vitamins, fats, and proteins. If we do that, our body will definitely let us know that we will start having a better quality sleep, better mood, better emotional health. And all of these indicators will definitely help us understand whether we are getting the right nutrition or not.
Absolutely. Anjali ji, आप क्या कहेंगी इस सब के दौरान, क्या खाना चाहिए और क्या नहीं?
Yeah, so I would like to quickly share a slide with you so that you will have a better idea about what Rashmi ji just now spoke about. So these are the major components. All of us have been learning this since our school days. But as we know, the school knowledge stays there, but we need to implement it in our daily diet and in daily life, basically. So all these basic groups of ingredients we need to have in our diet, and we all know about carbohydrates, fats, proteins. But in this carbohydrate part, now recently a thing has come when we have to use complex carbohydrates. So subsequently, I will be explaining about that also. And then the spices we must never forget, because they have been part and parcel of our Indian diet, and they have shown to have immense medical properties. So we must not forget that also. And I would like you to have a look at this healthy eating plate, which has recently been put forward by ICMR. And as you can see over here, all this major chunk, almost 50% of our daily diet should include all of these so-called rainbow fruits and veggies. So all 7 colors of rainbow we must include in our diet, and it's quite easy to do so. And then one third part only should be with carbohydrates, and followed by proteins and fats. So that is the current plate, ideal dietary plate that I would like to talk about.
Absolutely. Dr. Rashmi, अब आपसे जानना चाहूंगी, how do we choose what to eat and what will give us the right amount of nutrition?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. So when we are choosing what to eat, the thing to remember is that we tend to cook the same food for everyone, and everyone tends to eat the same thing. But if we look at different age groups, here we are trying to focus in Aahaar Kranti on the nutritional needs of different age groups. So let's go back to this slide here. What happens is different age groups have very different nutritional needs. So if we look at, for example, a pregnant woman, a nursing mother, or adults who are in their midlife, they are older adults. They have some women have already given birth. A lot of nutritional depletion has happened in their body. They have lost calcium, they have lost iron. So there are so many factors here. There are adolescents, teenagers. Teenage girls have very different nutritional requirements than teenage boys. Girls need more fat at that age, and boys need more protein. So we need to consider all of these when we make the food choices. It's not the same food, it's very different proportions that people need to eat. Even for elderly, we need to remember that they are not able to absorb food as well as younger adults or young children can do. So we need to give them a nutritionally dense diet. This is what it means by how to choose. This will help us choose food in a better way.
Absolutely. रश्मि जी, आपसे तो ये जाना कि हेल्दी वे में किस तरह चॉइस होती है, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे बच्चों के खाने पीने की आदतों के बारे में, डॉक्टर अंजलि?
Yeah, so this is always a tricky person, and as a mother, I too face this dilemma when my daughter was pretty young. And as we know, we have to give them the required nutrition, but we have to wrap it up in an interesting package. And we have to devise ways and means. And Rashmi ji actually recently had shared some of her experiences with me, so she will be better able to tell because her daughter is pretty young right now. But always we try to give different names, change the appearance of the very same dishes, and try to give them exactly the balanced nutrition that we discussed earlier. So all the veggies, like for example, if the people are like the children are not very crazy about eating veggies, then we give them as stuffing in parathas. So stuffed parathas we can give, or we can wrap them in interestingly shaped roti rolls kind of a thing. So all these tricks and techniques we need to employ.
Yes, Dr. Rashmi, children do tend to eat a lot of junk food. My daughter also is always ordering from Swiggy or Zomato. How can we best inculcate healthy eating habits in our children?
That is such a relevant question, and every parent, I think, is wondering about how to do that. But what parents need to understand is first, I mean, all parents are guilty of introducing junk food to their children. So what is the best thing to do is start very early. When we introduce basic tastes of fruits and vegetables to children, when they learn what the real taste of all of these is, natural foods, they will start enjoying it much more. And there are so many healthy alternatives to junk food that look very good. Like if we take French fries, for example, sweet potato, baked sweet potato fries is one example of how that can be easily replaced and made much healthier. Sweet potato has wonderful vitamins, minerals, a lot of healthy fiber, and children love that replacement. So if this is done gradually, children will forget about the junk food. There are so many other tasty things that are more nutritious in our traditional diet itself.
Absolutely. Dr. Anjali, spices के बारे में आपसे जानना चाहूंगी, क्या कहेंगी आप? क्या खाना चाहिए और क्या नहीं?
Yes, so this has been a topic very close to my heart. And as we know, India since time immemorial has been known as the spice capital of the world. And 40 different spices are grown all over India, and each community has a very specific way in which spices are used. So traditionally, we have been using spices because they had digestion improving properties, they had antimicrobial properties. So spices, if you remember in our pickles, we use them as preservatives as well. But now modern studies have shown that their effects are way beyond this. They have very good anti cancer properties, turmeric and ginger being the best examples. Then they have anti-diabetic properties like cinnamon and clove are shown to have insulin-like molecules in them. Again, we have to keep in mind that if something is having good properties, we have to give due respect to them and not take them like in crazy amounts. So without naming a foreign chain of restaurants, they have introduced this turmeric latte kind of a concept. So turmeric has such potent molecules that we are not expected to take it in the form of like 3 to 4 teaspoons in our food. So uh, it is to be used in that half teaspoon category, which is used when we usually make a tadka. So I say that spices have been so very important to us. We should give them their due respect.
Absolutely. Dr. Rashmi, with our busy schedules, it's different to go out. So how do we give the children the right kind of ahar at home? Because they are, like you said, prevent them. It doesn't happen. Society has opened them to those avenues. There is an ad on TV every minute, Domino pizza, whatever. तो क्या कर सकते हैं हम उनको ये बताने के लिए
Yes, so advertisements
like a rainbow thali you just showed a slide, उसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे?
बहुत ही अच्छा प्रश्न है. Especially during the pandemic, people have realized that we have, if we use food as medicine to improve our immunity, how do we introduce that to our children? Because children are still used to eating out and all of the junk food that you just mentioned, pizza and burgers, things like that. But when we give them, there are so many things in our traditional diet, if we look at the traditional thali here, that are extremely rich in micronutrients, in vitamins. Like even the chutneys, there are so many different kinds of chutneys that give micronutrients. All of this diversity should be introduced in an interesting way to children. That's what we do at home. We try to make it so interesting that children do not even remember that they used to have any kind of junk food, because of the sheer variety of the diet in the Indian traditional cuisine. And during that, we can easily introduce all of the colorful fruits and vegetables, where children will get all of the vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, phytochemicals. What this does is, if we are able to slowly do this, introduce one fruit day, introduce something new, maybe once in a few weeks. And what that does is it increases the curiosity in the mind of children, because they start feeling better. They start noticing the effects of this diet. And once that happens, there's no going back. Children themselves will realize that, oh, this is the difference I'm having in my scholastic performance, or they can play so many more things. They are so much better at different sports if they do that. So once they start noticing, we have to very slowly push them towards these eating habits. And of course, parents have to set an example by doing it themselves. That is something parents also need to think about.
What is micro diversity? What is microbiodiversity? What are phytochemicals, Dr. Anjali? And preservatives को आप कैसे देखती हैं?
Let me just share my slide for a minute, because I forgot to show the slide for the spices also. So if we can include it later, that would be nice. So this was the spices slide, which talks about all the various advantages that spices have in our life. And then natural versus processed foods. So immense number of studies have been done, and they are available on websites wherein people can just check out each and every preservative that is used by the packaged food industry is extremely harmful to the health. So we have in our Indian tradition, we have the extreme emphasis that is given on freshly prepared food. So in earlier days, our mothers used to cook fresh food both times of the day. So although it is difficult to achieve in current situation when we have very long working hours, we should at least make efforts to make one or two dishes fresh at each time. Also, it is important to keep in mind that not all preservatives are bad, because otherwise we would be unable to survive. There are a number of preservatives like citric acid, for example, just as one example, or oil or salt, which have been used traditionally in our Indian dishes. Like pickles are preserved with a good balance of oil and salt. Then we have used citric acid, vinegar. Vinegar encrusted veggies as pickles have been very much popular in North India. So we have these good preservatives available with us. So rather than using completely chemically synthesized preservatives, which have been shown to lead to cancer development, we should use these natural and milder preservatives whenever we have to preserve any kind of food material. So that is a very important point. And these preservatives will also lead to the loss of our good microbial population that is present in our intestines. So I would invite Rashmi ji to share her thoughts on this, because she is an expert in this field.
Absolutely, Rashmi ji, please go ahead.
Yes, so because this is about the microbes or the microbiota in our bodies, what most people tend to think about the microbes as germs that cause diseases, but that's not true. Majority of the germs are actually helping us. So if we look at who we really are, this is who we really are. We only think of ourselves as our visible organs, but we have 10 times more microorganisms than our own cells in our bodies, and these are functioning together with our cells, with our bodies, to provide many different functions that we cannot do on our own, like making vitamins, like vitamin K. We would not be able to clot our blood efficiently in case of any injury if we didn't have these microorganisms. That is one very small example. We would be unable to digest our food properly without them. So when we are trying to eat healthy food, we are not just feeding ourselves, we are feeding these microorganisms as well. That is something we need to consider, that the food we eat is not for us, it's for trillions of the microorganisms in our gut as well.
It's so interesting that we're talking of vital foods and two true scientists. यहाँ मैं जानना चाहूंगी about fruits and nutrition and variety even in fruits. क्या कहेंगी आप, Dr. Rashmi?
So the variety of fruits, what is important in that is when we talk about the rainbow diet, just like we showed the slide before, each colored fruit and vegetable has very different vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. Phytonutrients are something that are nutrients that plants give us. So these are present in all fruits and vegetables, but the amount is very different, and the kind of vitamins and minerals in each fruit and vegetable is different. For example, if we look at red fruits, we can get vitamin A from it. Yellow and orange are better for vitamin C. These are just small examples. So if we include all of this variety of fruits and vegetables, different colors, we can get everything that our body needs. Majority of these are water soluble, and we need to replenish them on a regular basis. That is the importance of a colorful or a rainbow diet in our life. That's why we should try to include these on a daily basis.
Would you like
and
to
also sorry
go ahead, please.
No, one more thing I would like to add is, because the microorganisms that help us digest our food are coming from where we live, from the area that we live, it is very important to have food that is grown in our local area, because the microorganisms will help us digest it in a much better way. The produce is also grown in the same area. Our microorganisms are also from the same source. That is why eating local food is so important. The other thing that is important is eating seasonal, because the microbes keep changing according to the season. So it is very important that instead of eating imported food, for example, if things grow in Australia, the seasons are completely opposite, and if I eat it in Qatar, it won't suit me because I don't have those microorganisms to digest it. So it is important to eat seasonal fruits. And a way to figure out what is seasonal and local is it will be available at a much lower price, and it will be available only in season. It won't be available throughout the year.
बिल्कुल। यहाँ मैं वाइटल फूड्स के बारे में थोड़ी जानकारी आपसे लेना चाहूंगी डॉक्टर अंजलि। आप क्या कहना चाहेंगी, व्हाट इज द राइट अमाउंट ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन और किस तरह खाना बैलेंस करना चाहिए सस्टेनेबल डाइट के लिए?
Yes, so that is the whole important question. And as we have looked at the earlier things, so here just 1 minute I wanted to clarify. So what is exactly you have in mind for vital foods? Because different people have different definitions. So आपका angle क्या है इसमें, वो मैं जानना चाहूंगी.
What is vital for the human system? From vitamins to carbohydrates to iron, कितना और कितना सही? Because people are now pumping themselves up with supplements. That is also happening.
Yes. Okay.
ज़्यादा
So
पी रहे हैं तो excess में पी रहे हैं, ये सब हो रहा है.
yes. So that is a very vital query that you have raised, and it is becoming a big concern actually, because as Rashmi ji mentioned just now, there are a few of the vitamins that are water soluble. So they will be removed from our digestive tract once the digestion is completed. But there are a number of non-water soluble or water insoluble vitamins that will go on accumulating in our body, and that will again lead to problems later in life. Similarly, like the iron thing you talked about, there is again a requirement that if you are eating iron, then it has to be combined with vitamin C component. So that is very critical. Otherwise, if you are having just iron tablets and you are not having vitamin C tablets, if you are into tablets along with it, then it will not be uptaken. Same is true with calcium and vitamin D. So all these balances, and we have been taught about this in our syllabi, but we are forgetting that, and we are forgetting to combine these two things together, and that's why the desired impact is not happening. Again, taking a supplement, it's very difficult to judge because each person's body weight is different, each person's constitution is different. So rather than taking supplements, it's better to have these stuff coming out from our diet, because naturally there is a combination of these phytochemicals which is beneficial for uptake and digestion that is happening. So plants have already given us a ready-made solution. So why not to use it, and why to go in for supplements?
Absolutely. रश्मि जी, चलते चलते आपसे ये जानना चाहूंगी, क्या विजन है आपका 2022 में? किस तरह की आहार क्रांति होनी चाहिए? किस तरह का खाना सभी को खाना चाहिए? What is vital for us? What is not?
That's a very interesting question. So in our team, Anjali ji is also working with the Aahaar Kranti team. We have been working together for the past 1 year on this. And our vision is that we want to reach the next generation, and we want to make them aware that, just reading things in the textbook are not enough. We have to, whatever we learn is to implement in life so that we are able to prevent all of these chronic diseases. Why do we have an increase in chronic diseases in Bharat and everywhere else? It is because we are not getting the right kind of nutrition to our body. So if we are able to fix that problem, if we make people aware that, adults are having these chronic diseases at a much earlier age than we used to have before. Even young children have so many chronic diseases, type 1 diabetes, high blood pressure, things like that. So all of these can be avoided. And our motto is we plan on using apps and awareness drives, like the Train the Trainer program that we have, where the teachers will be provided all of this information. This is how we plan on reaching students, because we have a lot of mobile penetration. Everybody has smartphones these days. Children can use them very easily. So apps are a very simple way of giving this kind of information, and they are extremely effective. So that is what we plan on doing in the 2022, is to reach
जी, यहाँ मैं जानना चाहती हूँ आपसे एक और सवाल. आप कटार से ज्वाइन कर रही हैं आज हमें, तो ग्लोबल पर्सपेक्टिव क्या है न्यूट्रिशन पे? मतलब भारत की बात तो हमने कर ली, वहाँ क्या सीन है, या यूएस में क्या सीन है, क्योंकि आप हर जगह से कनेक्टेड हैं और आप सभी जगह जाती रहती हैं. प्लीज टेल अस.
हाँ, तो बहुत ही अच्छा सवाल पूछा आपने. We have this wonderful tradition of nutrition. So if you look at, if I talk about Qatar, the Mediterranean diet is one of the healthiest in the world. But unfortunately, what is happening is Qatar has the highest rates of obesity in the world as well. And why does that happen? Because people try to tend to copy the Western very low diversity diet, and it has been extremely industrialized. It is neither diverse nor it has too many empty calories. It does not provide our body anything that it needs. The same is happening in Bharat. It's happening everywhere else. Even in Singapore, which actually has a very healthy eating culture. They eat at very fixed times during the day. The traditional food that they eat is very healthy. But now people are tending to copy the West, and it's ending up with very serious implications. So we need to look at the culture and the heritage that we have, and try to focus on our own values instead of copying somebody else, and try to be healthy.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'd like to end this session of Vital Foods. I would like to thank you, Rashmi Kulkarni ji and Anjali ji, for sharing your time.